Hello everybody, Matt here again. I've just got a little quick overview lesson for you today. This is something directly that we'll be talking about more in depth in our course that's up and coming. While you're here, if you wouldn't mind, if you haven't already, subscribe to our channel, hit the like button. That's really good for the algorithms on social media, spreads our message to more and more people. So if you enjoy the content, please chuck a like down. So what I'm going to talk about today is something that I've learned and developed over about a 6-year period working in direct face-to-face sales, which is one of the many jobs that I've done over my time. So what this is it's the 4 pillars of success. That's what I call it. And basically it's what I've viewed successful sellers and successful workers use to become better and better and get to the top of their kind of industry or job. Now these 4 pillars, they apply to any job or any interaction that deals with people or customers. And I'm talking even indirectly. So you might not be a front of house salesperson. You might be somebody who's got to communicate with a boss or a manager. This will still increase your productivity in the way you go about work and your even daily life. So the 4 pillars of success. Now, what are they? Pillar 1 is hustle. Pillar 2 is salesmanship. Pillar 3 is communication. And Pillar 4 is product knowledge. Now, I'll give you a quick overview of how this works. So Pillar 1, what did we say it was? We'll start with communication. So communication, I did another video on previously. So if you go back on our YouTube or any of our social medias, you can have a quick look at why communication is so important, and to extend yourself and get better at communication. Become a communication Jedi. Black belt is one of the most advantageous things you can do for your just social ability and workability. So what communication is a fundamental exchange of information. So it's the way you perceive an idea in your head, an idea or a concept, and your ability to transfer that to another entity, being another person. So it's a large, complicated process, communication, and to increase your ability is obviously going to be advantageous to you and to the people who have to try and understand you. Now, Pillar 2, we'll talk about hustle really quickly. So what hustle is your ability to conduct work over time. So effectively how quickly and how efficient you are at your work. So actually producing something of a positive, producing an idea or a product or a service, how efficiently you produce that over time. So there's many ways that you can increase your hustle. And we talk about them in our course that we'll be releasing very soon. So if you haven't already, pop your name down in our emailing list at Success by Process. You can find that through our social media or on our website. It's basically www.early.successbyprocess.com. So if you haven't put your name down on that email list, please do. Good way to get early access to our course. The third thing I'll mention is, so salesmanship. Now, salesmanship is different to communication. Salesmanship is basically your ability to use techniques of influence, really. So we're talking about things like upselling ability, learning how to do a 5-step sales process, learning how value is perceived and how you can assign value. All these things that fall under the blanket of sales. Now, in any industry, even if you want to create wealth for yourself, there's major things that you need as part of your skill set. And one of those things is a good understanding and grasp on the concept of sales. It's a really advantageous area to be knowledgeable in for all facets of your life. So for example, if you want to be able to sell yourself into a higher position, a higher role at work, having a good sound understanding of sales allows you to sell yourself into that higher role. It doesn't just apply to getting products out to people. Say if you run your own business, and even if you don't see yourself as a salesperson directly, you could be a personal trainer, you could be a mortgage broker, you could work in retail. All of these jobs, they have an element of sales in them. For the personal trainer, you've got to get more clients. You've got to use your sales ability to gather clients. So salesmanship is the third area that I'd mention. And the fourth area is product knowledge. Now, product knowledge, severely underrated in many industries. what I'd say is what product knowledge is understanding your product, your brand, your company, every facet of it. And not just that, but understanding your competitors, everything about your competitors. So you can talk about the unique selling points of your brand or your company, what you do better than the other companies. I'm going to go off in another video and talk about this, but one really small thing I'll highlight here is why that you should never ever talk down about your competitors. You should never slag off competitors or say they're rubbish, and I'll explain that in a future video, why that is. So yeah, they are the 4 pillars of success: hustle, communication, salesmanship, and product knowledge. Now, the broader idea of knowing these pillars is that if you want to improve on your own ability in your workforce, in your life, you should be constantly looking for where your weaknesses lie. If I'm going to give you a bit of an analogy here, but let's say you're a football player and you were amazing at slamming goals into the back of the net. Like when there was a ball sitting on the floor in front of you, you could kick a goal like nobody else. So this is your skill. This is your strength. But let's say, as you are this soccer player who can slam goals, that you've got an inability to receive a pass from another player. You just cannot take a pass. That means that you're not going to be kicking many goals if you can't receive a ball. So it's that old analogy that a chain is only as strong as its weakest link. So with that in mind, what you should generally be doing to working on your weaknesses. It's really easy to work on strengths, and that's what, if you're a really good goal kicker, you're generally going to want to kick goals all the time, but that's not going to be an advantageous thing to practice. You want to practice the things that you're rubbish at and make them your strengths. So with that in mind, when you're looking at the 4 pillars of success, when I train and mentor people in direct sales or anything else, any other roles that I've ever held, management roles, I'm generally trying to get people to self-identify things that they don't do well. So you look for your weaknesses. There's many ways you can do this. You can get outside, you can get your friends and colleagues to have an outside objective opinion, give you some constructive criticisms. But if you can self-identify which one of those, if you think of them as literal pillars or pillars of success, like coming out of the ground, which one is the lowest? The one that is the lowest pillar is the one that you've got to spend the most time working on. So once that pillar, you've worked on it, it becomes the highest pillar, then you look at your 4 pillars again and go, now which one is the lowest? And that area is the one that you should be investing your time in. So for me, that is a really effective way to gain more success in work and just general life. So yeah, again, guys, if you could chuck down, if you found this content today useful, if you think it might be useful for somebody else, please share it. The best thing you can do for me right now is chuck a like down on this video or subscribe to our channel, any of our social media. Also get your name down in the email list that I mentioned earlier at early.successbyprocess.com. Thanks for listening, and I'll see you all again with another video soon. See you later.